Welcome back. I'm so glad that you're here today. Today, we're going to talk about insecure attachment styles and specifically reactive anxious. The fact of the matter is that all insecure attachment styles are anxious, but there is a distinction between the three, which is anxious reactive, anxious avoidant, and anxious disorganized. Today, we're going to talk together about anxiously reactive style. So, what that looks like is having a resistance to being soothed, having difficulty with trust, pushing away both physically and emotionally, being resistant when someone is trying to comfort you. You want closeness and comfort, but it feels foreign and risky. So you tend to pull away from attempts to being comforted when distressed in adult relationships. You also might find yourself in relationship with both friends and romantic partners who are emotionally or physically unavailable. And when it comes to conflict, you may sidestep connection by escalating your side of things, building a case, and you're probably pretty good at it because you've had a lot of practice. And this is sometimes due to painful childhood experiences or adult relationships that have shown you that you wouldn't be believed, or maybe your feelings were persistently dismissed. And that's why you build a case. That's why you kind of go in with an urgency. So what happens in relationship is you're already expecting your partner and friends will be neglectful and dismissive. So either you don't ask for help at all, or you may secretly resent others for not being there for you. You might think to yourself, why do I have to ask? If you cared about me, you'd be more thoughtful. And this is probably because you tend to be very thoughtful in an attempt to get your needs met. It's not to say that's the only reason, but it seems so natural and easy to you that you imagine others should do the same because you're well practiced at it. So internally, you might be sensitive to feeling alone, invisible, not seen, heard, or understood. And sometimes, as an extension of that, you may also fear being too much or that you're worthless. You're able to acknowledge to yourself and others that you do want connection and might really push to get the important people in your life to hear and see you. So when your partner isn't tuned in, it really stings. And it's even considered an offense, right? It really hits you at that core. You may notice you become reactive because it jabs at your felt sense that you're not enough, that you don't matter, and that you feel invisible. And that can be really painful. So we can get really defensive and go in hard trying to get people to see us. In this state of activation or dysregulation, you might really demand to be heard. It's so painful because it literally feels like you need the other person to see you, understand you. You can feel it in your body, a kind of felt sense of desperation. And dismissing you can cause you to hit the ceiling because it really sets off. If you think about that core belief that you're not enough or too much, it's like hitting a button. You're trying to get what you didn't get from your parent corrected through your other relationships. You might tend to orient towards others, seeking reassurance to get them to help you feel worthy. And this feels really urgent and scary and tight when you're confronted with connections and conflict because it can feel terrifying and risky if you get any kind of response that might confirm the very thing that you fear, which is that your feelings aren't valid. And this is scary because it leaves you feeling alone and invisible. So the need to want all of this corrected and be reassured is often expressed in the form of yelling, demanding, maybe criticizing and nitpicking. So here's the thing, when you're not activated, you may exist in everyday life during low to moderate stress in a seemingly calm state on the outside. Even hold your needs and emotions back because you secretly fear that if you express your needs, you'll be disappointed or proven invisible or invalid, or maybe even too much, which feels in your body like high stakes danger. It's usually much too scary to acknowledge your needs and feelings because of that secret fear that lies underneath the surface. So your typical pattern is that you probably erupt after a while or erupt during times of general stress when your urgent need to be heard overrides your underlying fear. So why do you come at your partner or others in a relationship by demanding and criticizing if it doesn't get you the connection and reassurance that you want? This is because the fear you won't be heard or seen is so strong. You try to stay feeling safe by hiding behind harsh and severe style, which gives you a felt sense that you're the one in power or in control. And feeling in control leaves us feeling safer. So you kind of push people back to feel less vulnerable. And then you're likely erupt and are more straightforward. There's no protective distancing happening at this time. It's gloves off, no question about how you feel. You might say things like, "You never listen to me," or "How can you not notice what needs to be done around the house?" Or maybe even start to name call when you're really, really dysregulated. Rather than address the emotional want, you might make demands about superficial things when deep down you're feeling alone or invisible. So instead of saying something like, "I feel really lonely and I want time and attention with you," you might say something like, "Why can't you pick up your towel from the floor? Any idiot knows how easy this is." So you kind of go at your partner rather than asking, because you fear asking will lead to some sort of abandonment. So the difference here with other attachment styles, which I'll cover in my next video, is that you will put yourself in the conversation by directly slipping in and making it personal, like saying, "You never listen to me. I do everything around here. Why can't you hear me?" Whereas in maybe an avoidance style, you act as though you don't have any needs at all. Now, this might sound like the voice of a narcissist, but the difference between who has anxious attachment style and a narcissist is that they're coming from a place of pain. They're not enjoying the superiority of hurting someone. When this person's core fear is regulated, they drop that defense, unlike the person who's higher up on the narcissist spectrum, which it is a spectrum. So I'll talk about that in another video. In a nutshell, reactive persons, they preclude connection by literally pushing other people away through demands and criticism to make room for his or her needs and feelings to bubble up and be seen, even though it's not a very productive way of doing it. It doesn't really get you the result that you're looking for because you haven't learned to do it differently. So just to reiterate, some of the core beliefs are: I don't matter, I'm not enough, I'm too much. Next week, I'll be talking about avoidant attachment styles. See you soon.